Alright, I've heard the anger, I've heard the upsetment from the MMA fans. Yes, Belal Muhammad managed to defeat Gilbert Burns at UFC 288 yesterday in the co-main event, a 5-round main event. We gotta give Belal Muhammad a lot of credit. And yes, I know a lot of people are gonna be mad about me saying it, but it's true. He does deserve a lot of credit. While there's also some things he doesn't deserve credit for, which you're going to get into, I think Belal Muhammad had the perfect game plan to fight someone like Gilbert Burns. And yes, we are going to get into the arm injury and everything like that. But before we get into that, I'm going to say, hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. If you guys are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. And in the comment section below, rate Belal Muhammad's performance on a scale of 1 to 10. Like, how good do you think this guy did? Because I thought he did pretty well. Was there some things that he could have done better? Absolutely, and we're going to get into all of that. But thank you guys for watching. It's a big fight week, UFC on ABC, as well as KSI versus Joe Fournier. I'm going to be breaking down all these fights throughout the week, so tune in for that. And tomorrow I'm going to be dropping a breakdown video on KSI versus Joe Fournier, so tune in for that. But I think I've done enough talking. Let's just get into the fight. Alright, UFC 288 co-main event. Now, we all know that this was a co-main event that was kind of a late replacement. Oliveira, Dariush, they were supposed to fight. It didn't happen because Oliveira had a pull out an injury and is now fighting next month. But the UFC was looking for a co-main event, and this was a good co-main event because this was a very important fight for the welterweight division. And it sucks that it seems both guys were kind of injured going into this one, which you could expect when taking a fight on such short notice. But I was pretty confident Gilbert Burns was going to win. I thought Gilbert Burns was going to catch him. Belal Muhammad gets hit a lot sometimes, and I thought that even if Belal Muhammad got takedowns, I thought we'd see Gilbert Burns' jiu-jitsu threaten Belal Muhammad. And I thought on the stand-up too, you know, Gilbert Burns is a powerful guy. People forget, but he has power. I thought he was going to knock down Masvidal. He almost did, really rocked him. And this was a fight that I thought was a shoo-in for Gilbert Burns. I almost laughed at the odds for being so close. I thought that it should have been a massive favorite. And I did say, hey, if this was like a 3-round fight or even a 5-round fight with a full camp, I could see Belal Muhammad winning. But this on such short notice, coming off of Ramadan, I stand by what I said. This was going to spell out a disaster for Belal Muhammad. Like, the odds were stacked against him. This should have been a clear Gilbert Burns win, and I was super confident that Gilbert Burns was going to finish him off. I didn't think that he'd be able to last 5 rounds. But what we saw was the complete opposite. A 5-round domination from Belal Muhammad. I gave him basically every round. And in round 1, it was a bit competitive, a bit close of a round. Gave it to Belal Muhammad. I believe he got a knockdown at the end of the round. And after that first round, you notice, hey, Gilbert Burns isn't really throwing anything. And I was honestly getting a little enraged. But then I realized Gilbert Burns is injured. Gilbert's main problem in this fight was that he was trying to enter into Belal's range without throwing anything. He would just try to walk through and Belal would just throw straights at him. And I think that Gilbert should have listened to his coach and tried to have gone southpaw. I don't know how good he is in the southpaw stand, but at least he could have jabbed with his right hand and put that left injured shoulder behind him, because yes, Gilbert Burns did manage to injure his shoulder midway through the fight through some sort of wrestling exchange. But I do think that this was an injury prior to the fight, seeing that Henry Hoof, Gilbert Burns' coach, didn't really kind of seem surprised by this at all. So probably something that they were dealing with throughout camp, probably even before the Masvidal fight. But because of that, Gilbert Burns was very limited on what he was doing, and the guy isn't a kickboxer. He's not a guy that's going to throw a bunch of spinning attacks with his leg, you know, kick the head and be active with kicks. No, the guy usually throws with his hands and tries to wrestle, and you can't really do that when you have an injured left hand, your lead hand. And for Belal Muhammad, I don't want to make it seem like it was just Gilbert Burns that was injured. Belal Muhammad also had an injured ankle, probably. Belal Muhammad seemed to confirm this after the fight, and he still managed to put on quite the performance. And even coming off Ramadan, even coming off of the couch, even having a tough weight cut, Belal Muhammad really impressed me, even though, yes, Gilbert Burns was injured, and it wasn't the cleanest of wins because of that. However, I think Belal Muhammad deserves respect when talking about these top welterweights. I think he's definitely earned the respect to have him in the top 5 and have him as the next title challenger. Honestly, I think he should get the next title shot over Colby. I mean, what has Colby done? But they're gonna go with Colby, and Belal will fight the winner of that fight. And as for Gilbert Burns, you know, I felt like he could have done a little bit more. Yes, he had an injured left hand, but why didn't he go southpaw? Pick the legs of Belal Muhammad. They were always there. Belal's always heavy on his lead foot. I felt like after the second round, or even during the second round, Gilbert just accepted he was going to lose. And I understand it's a tough situation, and I hate to criticize fighters like this. I understand, you know, you're going in there with no left hand, basically. It's pretty complicated. I could barely use my computer with my left hand, let alone fight. So I totally understand. I'm not trying to be too critical here. However, I just think that he could have done a little bit more, try to be a little more active, maybe try to get a few more trips instead of, you know, going for traditional takedowns. But I just think that Gilbert was just so dejected. I mean, you saw him going to the corner, like he just looked like he had lost. And I think Gilbert will look back on this performance and kind of have regrets. And unfortunately, I think he's going to probably be out for the next God knows how long, probably at least till the end of the year. And I wouldn't be surprised if he fights a guy like Shavkat Rakhmonov, or maybe he fights the winner between JDM and Sean Brady. And for Belal, we all know what's next. He's going to fight the winner of Leon Colby, and I don't know if he could beat either of them, to be honest. I mean, yes, we've seen Belal fight Leon Edwards, and he was doing pretty bad, but keep in mind that was a short notice fight. it was 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago by the time we get this fight. And obviously the fight ended really weird because Belal Muhammad got an eye poke and that's how the fight ended. So no one really won despite Leon pretty much dominating up until that point, even rocking Belal Muhammad at points. And then with Colby, I mean, that would be a very interesting matchup because both guys kind of pressure forward. We've seen Belal's new approach that he just kind of moves forward, kind of like what he did with Gilbert Burns, and also how he finished Sean Brady. And that's kind of Colby Covington's department also. And Belal Muhammad has incredible takedown defense. He's just so strong and athletic in that department. And to be honest, both him and Colby aren't exactly the best strikers. So I think that's actually a pretty interesting matchup. And I think Belal's cardio is something we have to really talk about because the guy took this on short notice. And he looked like he can go a few more rounds if I'm going to be honest. But I was extremely impressed with Belal Muhammad's performance. And I think a lot of you guys need to stop hating on Belal. Look, he took the fight on such short notice. He didn't have to take this fight. Took a massive risk on himself. And you got to give him credit for that if I'm going to be honest. So I'm glad that this fight took place because it added a lot of clarity to the welterweight division on who's getting the next title shot. Gave us some finality on who is going to fight the winner between Colby Covington and Leon Edwards. And I hope that fight happens sooner rather than later because Belal is going to be out for a while. Like honestly, this fight might happen in February or March of next year. Because we've heard Leon say he wants to return in October. My guess is that he'll probably return as the co-main event to John Jones, Stipe Miocic. Or maybe he'll headline that December pay-per-view. But it kind of looks like Conor McGregor is going to headline that card. There's so many things that are up in the air. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him if he fights in November. And then if he takes a couple months off, we might not see him till minimum February. And it's May right now, like early May. So we might see him out for 10 months. But I hope that this fight happens in the summer so we can get something going to the end of the year or early on in the year. But I thought this was overall kind of a good card. Like I know a lot of you guys are shitting on the card saying it was kind of whack. Thought the main card was pretty decent. The Kron Gracie fight obviously was nothing to rave about. But other than that fight, I thought everything else was pretty entertaining. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys thought of Belal Muhammad's performance. I understand that you guys might not like him because yes, maybe he does get a few more decisions than he should. However, at the end of the day, you gotta respect him. You gotta respect his work ethic. And you gotta respect the balls it takes to get in there on such short notice. So let me know what you guys think should happen next in the welterweight division. Who should get the next title shot? Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, you guys are always the best fan base in MMA. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.